Well, hello, everyone, and welcome here to Bedford. Nick Anastas, Roger Howe with you. It's FNL Lacrosse presented by the New Hampshire Tomahawks. Back again for week number 4 in the NHIAA lacrosse season. Big show on the way. We'll kick it off with Quinn Silvio, one of the better players statewide for Derryfield, the senior already committed to Merrimack. We'll catch up with this Cougar star in about 20 minutes or so. Derryfield 8-0 out of the gate in Division II. Then we switch gears at 6:45 with Mike Shimana, the St. Anselm head coach. The men winners over the weekend at Pace in the quarterfinal round of the Northeast 10 tournament. Next up, Lemoyne, a NCAA powerhouse. We'll talk with Coach on the eve of that semifinal battle in the Northeast 10. Hour number 2, Khloe Hall, the Wyndham Junior, committed to Butler. She is our Tomahawks Player of the Week on the girls' side. We welcome her into the show at 7 o'clock. And then finally, JoJo Curl, the Portsmouth head coach. We're hoping to catch up with her at 7:15. Of course, the Clippers are in action tonight against Salem at 5:45. That game underway right now, so we hope we can sneak in Coach Curro at the end of the show. So Quinn Silvio to lead off, Mike Shimana, Khloe Hall, and then JoJo Curro in that order here on FNL Lacrosse. Roger Howe sitting in for Coach Cameron. The Cardinals on the field as well, playing crosstown rivals South tonight. So, Roger, the floor is all yours. How are you?
This is a big chair to fill with Coach Cam on the sidelines. I'm actually watching the feed right now. They're up 3-0 already against South. Not a huge surprise there, but it's good to be here. It's good to be here.
Yeah.
I like the fact that we're in a studio setting rather than either standing up in the stands shivering or me doing Zoom from the beach or
a little different.
Yeah,
a little different. We'll be at Exeter, by the way, for BG Exeter round number 2 on Tuesday. Part of our Friday Night Lights New Hampshire Game of the Week presented by Beals Insurance. Wednesday, we've got a girls' affair, 2 very good programs, Portsmouth and Bedford, coming up Wednesday at 5:30. But speaking of BG and Exeter on the boys' side, round 1 went to the Cardinals this week in lopsided fashion. 14-1 was the final, but as we know, the Blue Hawks dealing with several key injuries, including on attacking at midfield.
Yes, and that combined with the game before, the day before against Portsmouth. I was at that game against BG, and they just looked tired. They did not look like the Blue Hawks that I've been used to seeing. I've seen a lot of their games this year. We talked about my son being on the sidelines for the JV program, so I've made an effort to try and see them outside of the broadcasts. But it was clear to me that Owen Williams and Gavin Lechner not being able to play in that game had a huge play in how that game turned out. And then you add the fatigue of a real tough game the day before against a great Portsmouth team, and it just showed. It showed.
Yeah, tough stretch for Exeter, as we talked about. A number of games coming within a 2-week span, as next up for them today is Nashua North. BG again tomorrow. Will be there. Then at Lincoln Sudbury on Thursday. The Cardinals, meanwhile, took on another tough out-of-state opponent over the weekend after the Exeter win. That was Archbishop Stepinac, a game in which the Cardinals trailed most of the way. Made a good effort to narrow the gap in the end, but lose to the out-of-state opponent for the second time this season by a final of 13-10. That, of course, shakes up the coaches poll a bit, which you can find at our friend Joe Marcialena's website, ne-highschoolsports.com. The Cardinals still first, receiving all the first-place votes, and now 5-2 overall. But Portsmouth, you mentioned earlier, Roger, they beat Division I Exeter to stay unbeaten. They improved to 6-0 and jump up a spot or 2 in the poll to number 2. Derryfield, another Division II school, as we mentioned, 8-0. They are good for 3rd this week in the coaches' poll. Exeter slips to 4 with the 2 losses. Pinkerton at 5-4 overall is your number 5 team. Then the bottom 5, Bedford, Timberlane, Londonderry, Merrimack, and St. Thomas. Of course, we know about the Bulldogs. We've covered them a couple of times now to begin the season. Timberlane we're going to see in a couple of weeks, a Division II power, as we know. Londonderry, They're at 3-2. New coach there, as we know. We could talk about.
And they haven't played a game in a while either.
Right.
I think they've been 10 days, maybe 2 weeks without playing a game.
They sit there at 3-2.
Yeah.
And then meanwhile, Merrimack is 6-1 under Coach Miller, and St. Thomas 4-2. The Saints in Division II round out the top 10. Any big issues there, Roger? Or do the coaches pretty much have it right in your mind?
Yeah, I think they do. That last spot there, St. Thomas, Merrimack, I think Merrimack lost that game by 1. I think that's their only loss, if I'm not mistaken. They lost to Londonderry 5-4. I'm sorry, that was the 1-goal loss. They beat St. Thomas by 1, 4-3.
4-3.
That might be the only thing I disagree with Joe because of that one game. Merrimack perhaps should be in that higher spot, if I'm not mistaken. Are they?
Well, they got Merrimack at 9, St. Thomas at 10.
Okay, he did,
and that was the Tomahawks again, a 4-3 win back on April the 26th.
Yeah, and I had the pleasure of seeing Coach Miller Tuesday night after the BG Exeter game, and we chatted a bit, and I said to him, I don't think I've ever seen Merrimack, whether they were in D1 or D2, in that first place spot. And when I saw him after the game, he said to me, well, that's because we never have been. And it's great. I love the fact that, they haven't had a real tough schedule, and, I think they'll probably end up being like 9-5, something like that. I think I ran the numbers through. If my prediction is right, they've got a couple of big games coming up here.
They've got a test coming up. Pinkerton, then at Bishop Girton. Pinkerton tonight, 6:30. And then at BG on Wednesday, Nashua North and Memorial, a pair of home games for the Tomahawks after that.
Yeah.
Road matchup at Salem. And then the final 3, Bedford, at Exeter, at South. So you're right. It seems like the meat of the schedule, so to speak, still to come for Merrimack. But nonetheless, that 6-1 start. And right now, the best record in Division I overall. Indeed. As we enter Week 4.
And they're standalone. I think they were tied with Bishop Girton or maybe Exeter before the weekend, and now they're standing alone there. So it'll be interesting to see how Pinkerton, they've lost 4 out of their last 5 games, I believe, Pinkerton has, which put them in the 5 slot. I think Joe told me the other day that that's the first time they have ever been that low in one of his polls. Throughout the years. So that's got to be some motivation, I think, for Coach Gaudreau and his boys to really get going on the grass today at Merrimack. So that'll be maybe a little bit of a change for them. And again, Pinkerton loaded on the front end with out-of-state opponents. They did meet Falmouth and St. John's. They lose to out-of-state opponents Longmeadow, at Andover, and then at Hingham most recently over the weekend. In-state wins over South, Memorial, Salem. Yeah. Pinkerton, as you mentioned, Merrimack, then Londonderry, and then their final out-of-state opponent is Algonquin over the weekend. Yeah. All right, Roger, in Division II, we're going to break that down with our Tomahawks Player of the Week, Quinn Silvio of Derryfield, coming up here shortly, less than 10 minutes or so. But obviously it starts with defending champion Portsmouth at the top of the heap, still undefeated, and then Derryfield right behind them, also unbeaten at 8-0. Timberlane, the one loss at 6-1, puts them in third in Division II. Wyndham, Hollis, Brookline, both 6-2. I know you're high on both those teams. And then Merrimack Valley, Hanover kind of hanging around after that in the standings. Portsmouth, Derryfield aside, who do you like kind of in that second tier, Roger, as we near the midway point in Division II? Oh, boy. Hollis Brookline has got some guys, and they lost to Bedford just this past week. Timberlane, you got to love what coach has done. Wyndham handed a big loss to it was a D1 team. North, was it North the other day? North or South? They have done a tremendous job in getting back up from where they left off last year, even though they lost a couple of key guys. namely Levine.
Yep, Levine 2 years ago. And
2 years, yeah.
And Ryan last year, as we know, he went to Bentley. Wyndham, you nailed it. They beat South 17-5 in a blowout fashion. The only D1 opponent on the schedule. Hung around with Winnicott, but that's a big win for the Warriors after a slow start there on the beach for that club. They win 7-3 over Wyndham late last week. So, as we know, Division II kind of loaded with really solid teams, and now as we approach the midway point, starting to get some stratification.
A little bit of a shake, yeah.
As we take a look at the standings.
I would tell you that the two surprises are Winnicott and Goffstown, namely. They're below that Maginot line. They're not quite up above the 50% group, but and St. Thomas. St. Thomas has got to make a move. They've got to get up, with some of these top 4 or 5 teams. But I don't see many changes happening. I think we've got some good contests coming up between like Timberlane.
We do.
Portsmouth, Derryfield is coming up, so that should be a lot of fun to see what happens.
Yeah, Derryfield will be at Portsmouth on a week from Thursday, May the 11th, and we may or may not, wink wink, be there to see it.
Are we in a flex schedule now with
as far as the audience knows? Yes. Speaking of, Roger, this week's supposed to be wet again. We saw a little bit of that last week, but how does that affect these teams and these games going forward, if at all?
I hated to play in the rain. I just did. I hated coaching in the rain. You're more susceptible to injuries. But there are a lot more teams today that have turf that can certainly make up for any footage or any discomfort or misguidance you have out there as far as your footing and where you want to be. If you're playing on grass and it's not a good field, then it could be a real muck show. So it really depends, like Merrimack. I mean, that field there, I can't imagine that after this past weekend, that's a good field to be playing on right now.
Any way you could prepare for that for a coach, or no? There's just nothing you can do.
I mean, I don't think so. I mean, I can remember when Pinkerton played on grass, and they didn't even practice on their game field. They practiced at the Circle, and that was all dirt. It was just all dirt. And I think that benefited them a lot in the ground game with their ground balls and, being able to do their setups and clears and their rides. And I think that really benefited them. But I don't think so, anymore with these teams that, have turf.
Derryfield's Quinn Silvio on the other side of the break. Roger, you've had your eye on him for quite a while. What's his game like, and what's he like off the field?
He's fast. I had the pleasure of coaching his 2 older brothers, especially Tyler, and he's got a good head on his shoulders. And what I like most about his game is he is a cerebral lacrosse player. And my sons and I always talked about this, especially when they were in college, and we would talk on the phone, and the IQ of a lot of the kids on that team, including Quinn, is just amazing. He knows where to be. We've done a bunch of his games, over the last couple of years, and he's just a very, very smart player. He's fast, and he always seems to be in the right place at the right time.
We'll find out how he's able to pull all that off. What's the secret to an 8-0 start? Plus a few other questions on the other side for our Tomahawks Player of the Week, Derryfield's Quinn Silvio. Next, you are watching FNL Lacrosse, presented by the New Hampshire Tomahawks. Our broadcast today, as it always is brought to you by Beals Insurance Agency, with locations now in both Bedford and Londonderry. Whether you need home, auto, or business insurance, Beals Insurance will get you both the price and quality coverage that's right for you. Just call 603-471-9999 or visit BealsInsurance.com to request a free quote and start saving money today. Again, that's BealsInsurance.com.
Hey, I'm Chad, the owner of New Hampshire iPhone Repair. We're New Hampshire's most trusted and affordable repair shop for your iPhone, iPad, iPod, and even Android needs. Don't worry, we're affordable, reliable, and we back our parts with a lifetime warranty. And you know what the best part is?
No, what?
We can repair your phone while you wait.
I know, that's why I'm here.
Oh, I know, Mrs. Green. Here's your iPad, good as new. Bring your phone into New Hampshire iPhone Repair today.
The New Hampshire Tomahawks promote the highest level of club lacrosse competition, not just in the state, but in the country. Looking to get recruited? Director Chris Cameron keeps an open dialogue with the nation's top college lacrosse coaches. Over 400 New Hampshire Tomahawks alumni have played at the college level, including the ACC, Big East, Big Ten, Ivy, NESCAC, NE10, and more. New Hampshire Tomahawks coaching staff has over 100 coaches, including current high school varsity and college coaches. The Tomahawks offer training for players of all ages, clinics, camps, and leagues, along with spring, summer, and fall elite teams. So play with the best. The New Hampshire Tomahawks, showcase and development for college lacrosse. Visit NewHampshireTomahawks.com and girls.nhtomahawks.com. How can you reach your team's fundraising goals at no risk and no cost? MG Sports offers a variety of products to make your team's fundraiser a success. Their products include tickets and discount cards to hundreds of local businesses. MG Sports now has a digital platform where athletes can raise funds in the comfort and safety of their own home. So become another lacrosse program like Bedford, Goffstown, or Memorial that sets fundraising records every season. MG Sports, fundraising made easy. Visit mgsportsfundraising.com to start raising money for your team today. Are you thinking of selling your home? Well, now may be the time, given that spring is here, the market is hot, and interest rates remain at all-time lows. It's time to call Roger Howe, a licensed professional realtor with the Bean Group. Not sure what your home is worth? Roger will provide a market analysis for you at no charge. With 12 years experience in residential, commercial, leasing, and investment properties, Roger knows your local market. So contact Roger Howe of the Bean Group today.
Buy local and save big. For over 26 years, Spectrum Monthly has been providing great local offers from businesses in New Hampshire and Massachusetts, delivered to your mailbox every month. Spectrum is chock full of savings from your favorite businesses. From local restaurants and retail stores to entertainment, fitness, and home improvement services. You'll have easy access to thousands of dollars in savings, including exclusive offers for Spectrum readers. Every month, enter our readership contest for a chance at winning cash and local gift certificates. Spectrum Monthly, no one brings you better offers.
It's FNL Lacrosse presented by the New Hampshire Tomahawks. Nick Anastas, Roger Howe with you live from the Beals Insurance Studios in Bedford. NCAA talk coming up in about 20 minutes or so with Mike Shimana, the St. Anselm men's head coach. They're in the semifinals in the Northeast 10, taking on Lemoyne on Wednesday. Hour number 2, Khloe Hall, the Wyndham Junior, on her way to Butler. She is our Tomahawks Player of the Week on the girls' side. And then JoJo Curro, fresh off the field if possible, the Portsmouth head coach, hoping to join us after they take on Salem tonight. Joining us now is our first guest, the New Hampshire Tomahawks Player of the Week on the boys' side, Derryfield senior Quinn Silvio, Merrimack commit, joining us live from the household. Quinn, how are you?
Good. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming on. We appreciate it. As Roger alluded to earlier, we've covered a number of your games now, and frankly, you always seem to play well no matter who or where is on the other side. I guess, becoming fans of yours, frankly. What's been the key to the success in your mind? Obviously, you've made an impact since you've gotten to Derryfield. You seemingly have become one of the guys to build around, so to speak, if you're Coach Hetler. But what in your mind has been the key to the success, not just this year, but over the last several?
Yeah, thank you. I think the key to success have been definitely just work that I put in the offseason and, preparation that I put in up to the season and before every game. And I can attest I can attest most of my success, I'd say, to Coach Hetler. I've been very fortunate to have a great coach to lead me and show me the way of what right steps to take and how to hold myself to a higher standard and how to perform in games when I need to. And just I have great teammates around me who make me look good. I make them look good. We all play good together. I think we're gelling very well this season. You know, it's coming off of last season. We graduated no seniors, really. So I think we're in a good spot right now where we all know each other. We know our strengths and weaknesses, and we've gelled together, and I think we're ready. So, yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned it, an opportunity for some of those underclassmen last year to really cut their teeth in real time without any seniors on the field and to force, I'd imagine, players like yourself into an early leadership role. Was that the case, or did your status in the locker room kind of evolve as this thing has gone on?
Yeah, I mean, I've always had people to look up to, you know, coming in Derryfield, a lot of seniors, even though freshman year we didn't really have a season that got taken away from COVID. But I had those seniors to look up to, and then my sophomore year, I had big sophomores to look up to, like Jackson Snyder, Ryan Caparelli, Chaz Dean, kids like that. So then fast forward to the next year, my junior season, it was kind of hard. I did have to adapt to like faster than others to that leadership position. But I think we've made it easy with Coach Hetler. He's kind of showed me the way of what to do and how to hold my teammates accountable and how to hold myself accountable and how my actions kind of trickle down to the other kids. So, yeah, it's a lot of responsibility to take that leadership position pretty early, but I think I've done a good job, and so has my other teammates like Tate, Dugan, and all those kids. They've always stepped up to the plate. And, yeah, so it's been a lot of kind of forming into that spot, but I think we've all kind of made it happen together, and I think we have a good kind of lineup for leaders on our team.
And obviously we're very familiar with Coach Hetler, a former co-host on this show, and over the years we've interviewed several of his players. But I always ask this question, what's it like to play for Coach Hetler? He seems like a player's coach, high enthusiasm. The pants on game day aside, what's it like playing for Coach Hetler?
Where are the pants? Where are the pants? Has he worn the pants this year?
He did. He has broken out a different pair. It's not the same as 2 years ago, but they are
not the red and the black and the white. He's mixing it up a little bit, trying to make a fashion statement. I did send him some suggestions about 2 weeks ago. I wonder if he picked up on that.
Yeah, I'm sure he will. But yeah. Oh yeah.
Go ahead, Roger. What do you got for us?
So, yeah, been a fan of yours. As I was telling Nick and our producer Steve here, I had the pleasure of coaching both your older brothers, the Billy and Tyler. Tyler was a 3-year starter for me, and coached him on the varsity. So when I learned that you were, kind of coming into the lacrosse business as well, and spoke to your mom and your dad, and got to know them as well over those years, it was great to see you get out there on the field and do what you've been doing. And one of the things that has been fascinating about your game, and I think Coach Hetler has really kind of integrated this back into the game, which we didn't see for a while with the specialist, D-mid, offensive mid type of situation. You are excellent going both ways, both defensively if you have to stay out there on a change, and as well as the offensive side, which we know about. How do you feel about that? Do you like playing on the defensive side of the ball when you have to stay out there?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I actually do. I like the D-mid position, playing defense. I like being able to go both ways. And I do embrace playing good team defense because Coach Het, we always talk about how defense wins championships, and I really do like embracing that role of playing D. And I just like it as well, as much, if not more, than playing offense. So I like being a threat and being able to be used wherever I can.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times I can recall you being out there on defense, and either you or someone on your team makes a stop or a takeaway, and boom, you're back in transition, fast break mode, and it pays off keeping you and some of your teammates out there, that are offensively minded, but can play both ways. It's good strength of the game.
Right.
Quinn, what is it like? I guess being a part of that Derryfield culture, right? We talk about championships with Coach Hetler, whether it's at Division III or over the last several years at Division II. Obviously, Portsmouth has captured the crown the last 2 seasons. Is that, I guess, pressure felt amongst the players to win a championship, or is it more of a game-at-a-time mentality with smaller goals along the way? Is that the case, or is it expected to take home the trophy year in and year out when you suit up?
Yeah, I feel like we all do feel that pressure. Like, we do need to hold ourselves to that higher standard and bring home the championship at the end of the season. I love playing for Dairyfield. There's a lot of history behind that team. There's been a lot of great record-breaking win streaks, and Coach Hetler is one of the best coaches in New England, and there's no one that can say a bad word about him, and he coaches a great team, and I love being part of that program with us. Yeah, so I like being able to be held to that standard, and then everyone else being able to step up to the plate as well, and they do. Everyone does take a lot of accountability playing for Dairyfield, and I think we all like that responsibility and the expectation to kind of be the standards.
Yeah, that's an important aspect, I think, of what makes any program in any sport successful, and that is the culture that's created. And Coach Hetler is one of those guys. I've had the pleasure of coaching beside Coach Hetler on several occasions, and it's what he brings as excitement to the game, and relays that to his younger players, and you learn that, and as you said, there's more bonding, and you start to play for each other, and it's quite evident. It really is.
Yeah.
8-0, a good start for sure. You guys will see Portsmouth on the road next week on Thursday. Want to talk a little bit about your future. Obviously, graduation coming up, and then it's on to Merrimack University after that. What went into that decision to play for one of the NCAA's really Division II powerhouses at this point?
Yeah, Merrimack was just a great fit academically and lacrosse-wise. I think it gives me a great opportunity to progress as a lacrosse player there over the next 4 years. And academically, it gives me all the tools and resources I need to be successful in the future as well. So, just both academic and lacrosse-wise, it was a great fit. And I love, as you mentioned, we're a powerhouse D2 team, not even just a few years ago. And I love that aspect of their game, their new program. They're coming up into D1. Kind of Mike Morgan made that kind of seamless transfer from D2 to D1. And, so he's done a great job coaching that team and making that transfer. They play hard, gritty, with a lot of passion, and that's something I love to be a part of. And he's really guided that team in their way from 2 back-to-back D2 championships and now into D1, where they're not just like a slouch program at all. They've done so well this year. I think they're 7-6 heading into the last game of the season against Duke. And it's a great program that I can't wait to be a part of. And I can see myself there for the next 4 years.
Nice. How about off the field? What keeps you busy? Obviously, lacrosse takes up a big part of your spare time, but what are some of your interests here heading into, I guess, the final summer of being a kid, so to speak?
Yeah, I know, final summer. It's hard to imagine that this is the last one before I'm off to college. But, to keep me busy, I'm always hanging out with family, my brothers. I like to hang out with friends a lot, and I love to get out there with golf, whether it's with my dad, my brothers, friends, or a mix of all of them. I like to play golf a lot, or just pick up basketball anywhere I can. And always involved in sports and with friends outside, whether it's at the lake, on the beach, playing Frisbee, or whatever it is. I just like to be outside with my friends and family.
Quinn, we appreciate your time. Good luck this week. Good luck next week against Portsmouth. And once again, thanks again for joining us.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Good luck, Quinn.
That's Quinn Silvio, Dairyfield senior, on his way to Merrimack. He is our New Hampshire Tomahawks Player of the Week on the boys' side. Obviously, Coach Hetler knew what he was getting a couple of years ago when Quinn Silvio walked onto the field, and he's really, I guess, fulfilled a lot of that promise, so to speak, right? Everything was kind of geared towards this year with him and his classmates as seniors, and obviously 8-0 out of the gate is about as good as it gets.
Yes, and the scores are impressive as well. It's not like they're squeaking by.
Right.
They are dominating. I know that Coach Vischer has got his peripheral vision looking over at the standings in the scoreboard, but that kid, much like Chaz Dean was, and he mentioned Chaz, an upperclassman, a great lacrosse player, very, very good in his own right. But he has kind of, in my mind anyways, Coach Hetler may have something to say about that, but I think in my mind he has taken over that spot of leadership on the midfield, if not the entire offense, and they like working the ball through him. He can certainly take on that responsibility and put the team on his back when it's crunch time. I think he's still on our leader, isn't he, at the beginning of the show?
I think he's still on the highlight reel. Yeah,
I think he's still on the highlight reel. So I always like to think back of those games that he made a huge impact for them.
Obviously, that whole team is going to get a test a week from Thursday on the road against the two-time defending Division II champion Portsmouth Clippers, and obviously both teams, Roger, have that game circled. What does that mean for a regular season matchup for either club? You've been on, obviously, the sidelines for a big regular season game. It's not quite the tournament, not quite the postseason atmosphere, but nonetheless, big games are big games. Do you do anything different going into those games as a coach, whether you're Coach Vischer or Coach Hetler, or do you say anything to the players? I mean, how do you approach it if you're either one of those head coaches next week?
I think you try to stay calm. You try to maintain, the same culture, the same excitement, the same work ethic that you put into not only preseason but the games during the season. But you can't help but get up for big games. I can only reflect on my own experience, at Bedford High School during the D2 years, playing D1 teams for the first time ever, like Exeter and Londonderry and Pinkerton, and winning those games during, that 3-year span. It was electric to be on the sidelines with these boys, but the maturity as a coach, and Coach Gerard was very good at this. He was very mellow, but I know that we were, when we talked, prior to games like that, we were excited. We were excited about things like that.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the year that we played Bishop Girton when the streak ended after those 3 years, that was probably, in my mind, the biggest game in New Hampshire high school lacrosse at the time. Predicted over 3,000 people in the stands at Bedford High School that day, and it was just electric. It was amazing.
2015?
That would have been 2015, yeah, about 5 games in, I think, 5 or 6 games in.
And ironically, Coach Hetler was on the call with me for that game.
Was he indeed?
You can believe that.
I know where I was. I was on the other side looking up at the press box.
Exactly. All right, we're going to switch gears here in just a moment with Coach Shimana of St. Ansem. Roger, you're pretty familiar with the not only St. Ansem, but as you mentioned off air, Southern New Hampshire. They're in the quarterfinals this weekend as well. The Northeast 10 has gotten very good.
Oh, yeah.
Over the last several years.
Even with Merrimack leaving.
With Merrimack leaving after back-to-back national championships. Lemoyne, of course, is the opponent coming up for St. Ansem. That would be a major win and maybe enough to get them into the tournament field if they can get themselves into the conference tournament. That seems to be what's at stake here coming up on Wednesday for the Hawks.
Yeah, clearly. They're in that semifinal game. They'll be traveling up to Syracuse to play Lemoyne. They played them very tough during the season. They played Adelphi very tough during the season as well. They lost both those games, but I certainly think that Coach Shimana, who I've known since he started at St. Anselm's, he'll have these guys ready for that game. Lemoyne's always a tough team. They are just, I've seen them play so many times, and they can really take it to you. But it should be a good contest, and I look forward to that. Adelphi's playing Pace, I think.
Pace got knocked out.
Pace got knocked out by St. Anselm's.
St. A's.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so I got that wrong. But it'll be a
Is it Bentley?
Good game. It is Bentley. You're right. It is Bentley. Yeah, I thought Bentley. But we'll know more on Sunday for the selection show. If St. A's doesn't get the win in any 10, they could still be a candidate to be an add-on, as a guest to join that big, massive tournament.
Well, a lot on the line, as we know, either way, when they take on Lemoyne. Coach Shimana on the other side. You are watching FNL Lacrosse. It's presented by the New Hampshire Tomahawks. Our broadcast today, as it always is brought to you by Beals Insurance Agency, with locations now in both Bedford and Londonderry. Whether you need home, auto, or business insurance, Beals Insurance will get you both the price and quality coverage that's right for you. Just call 603-471-9999 or visit BealsInsurance.com to request a free quote and start saving money today. Again, that's BealsInsurance.com.
Hey, I'm Chad, the owner of New Hampshire iPhone Repair. We're New Hampshire's most trusted and affordable repair shop for your iPhone, iPad, iPod, and even Android needs. Don't worry, we're affordable, reliable, and we back our parts with a lifetime warranty. And do you know what the best part is? No, what? We can repair your phone while you wait.
I know, that's why I'm here.
Oh, I know, Mrs. Green. Here's your iPad, good as new. Bring your phone into New Hampshire iPhone Repair today.
The New Hampshire Tomahawks promote the highest level of club lacrosse competition, not just in the state, but in the country. Looking to get recruited? Director Chris Cameron keeps an open dialogue with the nation's top college lacrosse coaches. Over 400 New Hampshire Tomahawks alumni have played at the college level, including the ACC, Big East, Big Ten, Ivy, NESCAC, NE10, and more. New Hampshire Tomahawks coaching staff has over 100 coaches, including current high school, varsity, and college coaches. The Tomahawks offer training for players of all ages, clinics, camps, and leagues, along with spring, summer, and fall elite teams. So play with the best. The New Hampshire Tomahawks, showcase and development for college lacrosse. Visit NewHampshireTomahawks.com and girls.nhtomahawks.com. How can you reach your team's fundraising goals at no risk and no cost? MG Sports offers a variety of products to make your team's fundraiser a success. Their products include tickets and discount cards to hundreds of local businesses. MG Sports now has a digital platform where athletes can raise funds in the comfort and safety of their own home. So become another lacrosse program like Bedford, Goffstown, or Memorial that sets fundraising records every season. MG Sports, fundraising made easy. Visit mgsportsfundraising.com to start raising money for your team today. Are you thinking of selling your home? Well, now may be the time, given that spring is here, the market is hot, and interest rates remain at all-time lows. It's time to call Roger Howe, a licensed professional realtor with the Bean Group. Not sure what your home is worth? Roger will provide a market analysis for you at no charge. With 12 years experience in residential, commercial, leasing, and investment properties, Roger knows your local market. So contact Roger Howe of the Bean Group today.
Buy local and save big. For over 26 years, Spectrum Monthly has been providing great local offers from businesses in New Hampshire and Massachusetts, delivered to your mailbox every month. Spectrum is chock full of savings from your favorite businesses. From local restaurants and retail stores to entertainment, fitness, and home improvement services. You'll have easy access to thousands of dollars in savings, including exclusive offers for Spectrum readers. Every month, enter our readership contest for a chance at winning cash and local gift certificates. Spectrum Monthly, no one brings you better offers.
Back here in the Beals Insurance Studios in Bedford, Nick Anastas, Roger Howe with you. It's FNL Lacrosse, presented by the New Hampshire Tomahawks. We appreciate Quinn Silvio, Dairyfield Senior, jumping on with us. We've got Khloe Hall of Wyndham, the junior, on her way to Butler coming up. She's our Tomahawks player of the week on the girls' side. And then JoJo Curro scheduled for 7:15 if she can make it. The Portsmouth head coach wrapping up a game against Salem. Talking NCAA right now with St. Anselm head coach Mike Shimana. He joins us on the phone, and we welcome back the coach to the program. Coach, how are you tonight?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Obviously, congratulations on the win over the weekend at Pace. That was a 15-12 final that puts your team back in the conference semifinals, where you'll take on Lemoyne coming up in a couple of days. Coach, is it me, or does the league, the Northeast 10, continue to improve? It seems like year in and year out there's more teams that get national attention. There's more teams from the conference that get recognition in the polls, and frankly, it's becoming one of Division II's better conferences, top to bottom, in the NCAA. You agree with that, Coach? And if so, what do you attribute that to over the last few seasons?
Yeah, well, first off, Roger, I love your sweatshirt, so glad you're wearing that tonight.
Hey, I'm in your corner, Coach.
I appreciate that. We appreciate that. No, I would definitely agree. You know, the Northeast 10, I think, is the best conference in Division II by far in the country, and I think it rivals the NESCAC and the ACC. Obviously, those are the two top teams in those divisions as well. I think it's always historically been challenging at the top of the conference. You've always had the Lemoynes, the Adelphis, the Merrimacks previously, and I think that it's gotten even stronger from maybe that 6th spot through 9, 10 even. There's really no game where you can just show up and roll the balls out and not be prepared and win. We just had a game on Tuesday night against Assumption, who has 2 wins in our conference and is an extremely talented team. And, if we weren't prepared for that game, I think, we could have easily lost that. And there's not a lot of conferences where every single conference game you have to show up and bring your best. So in the end, it makes our conference more successful in the postseason because you're more prepared. So you may have to grind a little bit more during the regular season, but for those teams that are lucky enough to get to the postseason, any 10 tournament and obviously NCAA tournament, it makes you more prepared for those games in the postseason. So.
And a big road test over the weekend and a big road win for your club against a very good Pace team on the road. That was a game, Coach, where you surrendered 2 goals in the opening couple of minutes and had to kind of fight your way back. What does that say about your club? Being able to go into a tough place to play on the road, do or die spot, fall down early, and yet somehow, some way, come away with a 15-12 win. What does that say about your team?
Well, I think we're a very veteran laden team at this point. We got a lot of seniors on our team who played in 2021 when we made our first NCAA tournament. So they've played in a lot of big games. Played an overtime game against Seton Hill as freshmen. They were sophomores that year. I apologize. So it's our juniors and our seniors that played in that game. We had a freshman score a game-winning overtime goal in that game, who's now a junior, Noah Larson. Just basically all over our roster, we have veterans who have experienced those tough situations, those games on the road, all the challenges that come with playing on the road and playing a top 20 team. If you look at our schedule right now, we've played 6 teams that will be ranked in the top 8 of the regional rankings coming out soon. And that's more than any other team in the North has played. So not only do we have the experience from previous years in any 10 tournaments, these guys have played in a conference championship game, but also NCAA tournament games. And I think we leaned on those guys to really fight back and just play our style of lacrosse. I think that was a big message to our guys going into the game, was this game is not about pace. It's not about what they do. It's about what we do. It's about playing our game, playing our style, playing together for 60 minutes. And we knew the first 5 minutes didn't matter. It was going to be a 60-minute game, and we were lucky enough to close it out.
Yeah, you You had a good streak there. You had 5 wins in a row before you ran into that same Pace team and lost that game by 1. 10 days later, you get them in the playoffs with a game against Assumption that I was at that was absolutely miserable. A downpour monsoon hour of lacrosse that your guys rose to the occasion and ended up a good win there. But to come back after that Pace loss and after that terrible game, and weather-wise anyways, but to put it to Pace, that is a tribute to your coaching staff and the resiliency of your team.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we were prepared for it. It was actually kind of nice that we played that Assumption game in the rain. I think we were a little surprised by that, which we weren't quite I know the coaching staff wasn't expecting that rain. Coach Coburn checked his phone right before we headed out and said it was going to rain, and I knew it was going to rain, but not like that. So I think we were not quite as prepared for that. And but it rained down at Pace, and we were prepared for it. We brought buckets of water out to practice on Thursday and Friday. Guys are putting their sticks in there, their gloves in there. Guys are getting prepared to play in the elements. And I think that paid off for sure. It was just more of a mindset thing. Like, you got to be, yes, you have to have your stick prepared to play in a game where there's weather, because it does change things. But I think it was more of just a mindset thing that, yeah, it's not going to be perfect on Saturday, but we just got to figure out how to play our game, how to play together, how to stick together, and ultimately come out successful, which we're able to do.
Well, one of the biggest wins I know the program has had over the years was at a time when one of my players, Aaron Powell's, played for you, and you won that game in Lemoyne. What was that? Was that 2019? You won that
2018.
Game? 2018. Now you only lost to Lemoyne at Lemoyne earlier this year by 1 goal, and now you're heading back up there. What are you telling your boys about this Lemoyne team this time around?
Yeah, again, I think it's also about us. I think that game, we really lost that game. Lemoyne didn't necessarily beat us. I mean, Lemoyne is the team in Division II. They always have been. They're always extremely well coached. They're very disciplined. They're going to play their style. But I felt like we had them where we needed them to be, and we just needed to finish it out. And had a couple things not go our way, and just didn't really respond the way we needed to in the final 5 minutes of that game. We've now played some other really tight games that have, I think, taught us what we need to do at the end of games. Assumption that you were at, we were down pretty late in that game, and came back and won and did whatever we needed to do in the last 5 or 6 minutes to win that game. We did the same thing at Bentley on the road under the lights earlier in the season, and you've seen, or maybe have seen, what Bentley has done recently, beating Adelphi and got the number 2 seed in our conference. So that was a game where things weren't going our way. We had guys get hurt during the game, 2 or 3 guys that were out of the lineup that were normally guys that were going to play for us, and just had to find a way to win and face that adversity that we played in that game, and then the Pace game as well. So that Lemoyne game was early in the year, and we're pretty battle-tested at this point. Like I said, having played 6 games against regionally ranked opponents, more than half of our games that we've played. And, it's all about us. When we play our style, when we're clicking, when our guys are playing fast and pushing the pace on both ends of the field, we're pretty tough to beat. And I think that's the main focus. It's challenging when you got to focus on everything another team does, worry about yourself. Obviously, we game plan and scout those opponents, but ultimately, we got to get back to playing Hawks lacrosse, what we say, and that's playing up tempo. It's playing tough. It's being disciplined, playing with effort. And if we do those things, I think we have as good a chance as anyone to beat Lemoyne. And we talked to our guys actually before this playoff run started. In 2018, we lost our last game of the year to a St. Rose program that maybe, on paper we shouldn't have lost to. We get them back in the first round of the NE10 tournament, just like Pace this year, beat them. People are telling us good luck going to play Lemoyne as we're walking out of that stadium. Similar stuff this year as well. Good luck going to Lemoyne. Well, that year we were able to go up there and knock off an undefeated number 1 team in the country, which wasn't easy to do. I'm not saying just because we did it before we can do it again, but it has been done. I think that helps us a little bit, and our guys are prepared and excited for the challenge, that's for sure.
One last question from me about Lemoyne. And one of the most boring games I've ever seen in my entire life was in 2016 when Lemoyne was in the championship game in Philadelphia. And I literally fell asleep because of their style of play. Just hold the ball. This was before shot clock now. Hold the ball until you find a seam or an opening, and the score was like 6-4 or something ridiculous like that. I don't think it ever reached double digits. I haven't seen them play other than watching that game that you won in 2018 on the video feed. Do they now, with the shot clock, play that same style of just drag the ball over and try to find the seam and hold it for the whole 80 seconds if they can?
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously some things have changed. Like you mentioned, the shot clock obviously puts a little more pressure on their offense to get something done, but they would love to play a 6-4 game against us. We've played them plenty of times. I think this will now be 5 times in the last 2 years and 7 in the last 3 or something like that. So very familiar with them. And their style. Coach Sheehan prides himself on the defensive side of the ball. He loves those low-scoring games.
Yes, he does.
And he trusts his defense. He knows that they only have to get, a certain amount of points to win a game. And they want to, against us especially, they want to take our transition away. They want to take that fast pace that we want to play away. So, hey, if they get a shot clock violation and they throw it in the corner and we don't get to push transition, I think they're content with that. They've wasted 80 seconds of the game clock, and they feel confident in their defense. So they definitely do not mind playing that slowed down style of game. That being said, they still move the ball extremely well on the offensive side of the ball. If you give them an opening, they're going to take advantage of it, whether it's 20 seconds into a shot clock or in the last 10 seconds of that shot clock.
Sure,
but
yeah.
I would say that, the biggest thing with them, they're just so disciplined. They're going to stick to their game plan. They're going to be extremely well coached. Every guy on the team is going to know the game plan. You're going to see that early on. What is their game plan? Are they going to double pull us? Are they going to slide to us early? Are they going to slide to certain guys when they get to certain, places on the field? And we'll figure out what that is, obviously, on Wednesday. But every guy sticks to the game plan. Every guy is extremely disciplined. They play as a team. There may be more talented teams in the country, but no one's going to be more disciplined than them. And so if it takes a slowed down 6-8 game, they're likely going to win that low-scoring game.
Sure.
Coach, I know you've got some kids to tuck away, but we appreciate the time. Good luck later this week against Lemoyne as well, and we appreciate you carving out some time for us tonight. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely, no problem. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Go
Thank
Hawks.
you.
Go Hawks.
Mike Shimana, building a program over there at St. Ansem. If this is the end of the road or not this season at Lemoyne, either way, another success. Hawks are 9-3 going into this one, and on the heels of 2 straight NCAA appearances, the Hawks are for sure one of the standout teams now, not only in the Northeast 10, but really in the NCAA at the Division II level. Absolutely,
and he has really done that program very, very well. Prior to him was Coach Gaudreau. Gaudreau was there, who is now the coach over at Pinkerton, and before that, a guy by the name of Maloney that was there as well for a few years. So I've seen the progression of talent that he has been able to bring in, and how they have remained extremely competitive, or even more so now under his coaching and coaching staff throughout the years. But yes, it'll be exciting to see what happens when they get to that next level, if they can get by Lemoyne here. All right, we're going to keep it right here and welcome in our next guest as we welcome in hour number 2 here on FNL Lacrosse. Khloe Hall is the Wyndham Junior. She is our New Hampshire Tomahawks Player of the Week, and she joins us now from her home. Khloe, good evening. How are you?
Good evening. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for coming on. How about an undefeated start? I don't know how you guys did today against Timberlane. Did that go well for you guys? Did you win that game?
We won today. I think the score was 21-11. Pretty high scoring game.
So a big game, a big win over the Owls. So 8-0 out of the gate for your team. What has been the key in your mind?
Honestly, we've been pretty good all around the field. Our offense was definitely rocky to start, but we were able to pick that up pretty quickly in the beginning of the season. And we definitely have some solid defense and a good goalie in net. So all around, everyone's pretty good, which is awesome.
Yeah. Has the offense been getting better by the game, so to speak? Sometimes that can happen early in the season, but it sounds like you guys kind of hit the ground running.
Yeah, we did.
Defense, what's been the key there? Obviously, you mentioned the play has been good all around, but what's been the glue, so to speak, on defense?
Just communication on defense, honestly, is like our number one thing. Making sure, like, if you got like if the person next to you is driving, like, you're there to help your teammate. And I feel like we've been really good playing as a team in general.
Something Roger likes to hear.
I love it
as a coach. Khloe, what about the group of girls you're playing with? Obviously, you're a junior. You're already one of the leaders in the locker room. But give me an idea of kind of the infrastructure in the locker room. Who, along with yourself, are some of the leaders, and what kind of a role would you describe yourself as having exactly?
Yeah, we have our 4 captains: Maria Killian, me, Ava Stolly, and Emily Webman. Everyone on the team is just super nice. Like, everyone is like ready to go. We have a certain level of focus and a certain level where we're all like super nice and we're like having fun at the same time, which is awesome because sometimes we tend to have a little too much fun, but we're always like, when it's the game time, we're always like ready to go. And we have like Maria, for example, is one of our captains. She's really good at getting the team like ready to go. Like, guys, we need to focus, like get our head in the game. And to a point where it's not like you're yelling at your teammate. So it's like kind of like, come on, guys, like, let's go. Like, we all know what we have to do.
Kind of like Roger's role back in the day, I'd imagine.
Indeed, right? Yeah. It's always been. And hello there. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Good. Having run a girls program in Bedford, youth program, it was always intriguing to me to see how much fun the girls had playing and making events out of practices and things like that, and bonding like that every single day during practice that you don't often see in the guys' game. It's more, the guys are more serious about it, whereas, sometimes the girls will dress up and have, like you said, they'll, do pranks against each other and things like that, and that's tolerated. That's part of the spirit of what you do. And I tip my hat to your teams and your teammates that can do that and keep things jovial and upbeat as you go undefeated so far this season. That's great. Great to see.
Yeah, 8-0 obviously is impressive. What's more impressive is you're already committed. It looks like you're going to be headed to Butler in a couple of years. What was behind that decision? Obviously, it seems like a good one, but what went into that initially, and how did Butler become the team in the end?
Yeah, obviously I've played Tomahawks for a while, so I've always had like the support on my team, and Coach Callie for recruiting. She helped a lot. And yeah, I don't really know. We all fall and all summer. Like, I did so much traveling over the summer, just touring, and same thing with the fall. And I don't know, when it came to Butler, like, the team had the same like energy, and the coach is super nice, Coach Z. We all love her. She's actually new this year, so that's so exciting. And she just had great energy when I went on campus, and it was just like, I feel like to a certain point, like, what like fits for you, and that was a great fit for me.
Yeah.
So,
did you get to check out the field house where they play?
Yes.
They shot Hoosiers there. You know that over there at Butler back in the day. We asked Quinn Silvio what he likes to do off the field, and he said basically anything sports related. How about yourself? What are some of the other sports you like, and some of the other activities in general that keep you busy?
Yeah. Let me think. I play soccer in the fall. So I will probably be continuing that next year, my senior year. That should be super fun. A lot of lacrosse in the summer. So, yeah. And then in the winter this year, I did indoor track, which was really fun. Just to keep like getting a workout in after school and like being friends too. That was nice. Yeah, I
Keeps you
don't
in
really.
shape too.
Yes, which is super nice coming into preseason and the regular season, obviously.
Well, go ahead.
That's it.
Okay. Well, I wanted to ask one more question about, I guess, the day in and day out routine that a lot of student athletes have to get in, especially this time of year. About a month or so left in school. You got proms, not in your case, but in the seniors' case, you've got graduation to look forward to, and obviously the lacrosse season as well kicks into high gear. How do you balance it all, and what does really the day-to-day schedule for you look like, trying to balance, again, academics, sports, social life, etc.?
Yeah, it all comes back to sleep, honestly. If I catch myself lacking on sleep, I just know that's when my day is gonna start going downhill a little bit. So at the end of the week, I gotta reset and be like, Chloe, you need to go to bed earlier. And I mean, wake up, eat a good breakfast, go to school, get all my schoolwork done, go to practice, come home, try and do as much homework as I can right when I get home, because I feel like that's when, like, the easiest thing to do, like, oh, you want to go home, you want to, like, sit down, but, like,
Right.
if you get it, then it's like, oh, you don't have to do it later, which is super nice if I get that done. So, but yeah, sleep, number one thing, and eating good. And
Great advice. Great advice, not just if you're 17 either. It goes pretty well for 40 plus as well. So we appreciate it, Chloe. Thank you. Good luck moving forward. Congratulations on the undefeated start, and we look forward to talking to you again down the road. Thanks for coming on.
yes, thank you guys so much. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Good luck, Khloe.
Khloe Hall, another bright young lady, our Tomahawks Player of the Week, the Wyndham Junior, has got them 8-0, Roger, in Division II.
Yes, and they got a big one coming up on Friday against Hanover. Hanover is at the top of the standings in D2.
Traditionally tough, right?
Traditionally tough, yeah. And so they'll be hosting Hanover on Friday. And I think they've got another game in between, if I'm not mistaken, after a great win today. They've got Nashua South coming up tomorrow. So a couple of good games coming up for them, and I wish her all the luck in the world. I've been on that summer trek as a rising senior father and traveling what seems to be endlessly the Tomahawks Trail, as we called it. But good luck to her, and thankfully she's already committed, so she'd just be out there getting her game better. Yeah,
it sounds like Butler's getting a heck of a player in Khloe Hall. Indeed. All right, one more break, and then on the other side, we hope to speak with JoJo Curro, the Portsmouth girls head coach. Clippers are off to an unbeaten start. They're on the field right now against Salem, so if Coach can sneak away in time, then we'll speak with her. If not, Roger, we've got some hot scores right now coming in off the wire to get to here to kick off week number 4. So don't go away. Final segment on the other side. You are watching FNL Lacrosse, presented by the New Hampshire Tomahawks. Our broadcast today, as it always is brought to you by Beals Insurance Agency, with locations now in both Bedford and Londonderry. Whether you need home, auto, or business insurance, Beals Insurance will get you both the price and quality coverage that's right for you. Just call 603-471-9999 or visit BealsInsurance.com to request a free quote and start saving money today. Again, that's BealsInsurance.com.
Hey, I'm Chad, the owner of New Hampshire iPhone Repair. We're New Hampshire's most trusted and affordable repair shop for your iPhone, iPad, iPod, and even Android needs. Don't worry, we're affordable, reliable, and we back our parts with a lifetime warranty. And do you know what the best part is? No, what? We can repair your phone while you wait.
I know, that's why I'm here.
Oh, I know, Mrs. Green. Here's your iPad, good as new. Bring your phone into New Hampshire iPhone Repair today.
The New Hampshire Tomahawks promote the highest level of club lacrosse competition, not just in the state, but in the country. Looking to get recruited? Director Chris Cameron keeps an open dialogue with the nation's top college best. The New Hampshire Tomahawks, showcase and development for college lacrosse. Visit NewHampshireTomahawks.com and girls.nhtomahawks.com. How can you reach your team's fundraising goals at no risk and no cost? MG Sports offers a variety of products to make your team's fundraiser a success. Their products include tickets and discount cards to hundreds of local businesses. MG Sports now has a digital platform where athletes can raise funds in the comfort and safety of their own home. So become another lacrosse program like Bedford, Goffstown, or Memorial that sets fundraising records every season. MG Sports, fundraising made easy. Visit mgsportsfundraising.com to start raising money for your team today. Are you thinking of selling your home? Well, now may be the time, given that spring is here, the market is hot, and interest rates remain at all-time lows. It's time to call Roger Howe, a licensed professional realtor with the Bean Group. Not sure what your home is worth? Roger will provide a market analysis for you at no charge. With 12 years experience in residential, commercial, leasing, and investment properties, Roger knows your local market. So contact Roger Howe of the Bean Group today.
Buy local and save big. For over 26 years, Spectrum Monthly has been providing great local offers from businesses in New Hampshire and Massachusetts, delivered to your mailbox every month. Spectrum is chock full of savings from your favorite businesses. From local restaurants and retail stores to entertainment, fitness, and home improvement services. You'll have easy access to thousands of dollars in savings, including exclusive offers for Spectrum readers. Every month, enter our readership contest for a chance at winning cash and local gift certificates. Spectrum Monthly, no one brings you better offers.
Final segment here of FNL Lacrosse, presented by the New Hampshire Tomahawks. Nick Anastas, Roger Howe with you live from the Beals Insurance Studios in Bedford. If you've missed any of our interviews, any of the segments, don't worry. The show, as usual, will be posted to the video section on our YouTube channel, FNLNH Media. Again, Friday Night Lights New Hampshire on YouTube, FNLNH Media. Do yourself and us a favor and hit the subscribe button. Programming note, tomorrow night we're on the air at Exeter for a 6:30 face-off between Bishop Girton and Exeter. It's a rematch of the last two Division I state championship games. It's also a rematch from last week's regular season affair that was won by the Cardinals. So BG at Exeter tomorrow night, 6:30. Our Friday Night Lights New Hampshire game of the week, presented by Beals Insurance. Then on Wednesday, a bonus game for you as we are back in Bedford for Portsmouth at Bedford on the girls' side. It's a 5:30 start between two unbeaten teams. All right, Roger, we've got some scores here. We are hoping to speak with JoJo Curro of Portsmouth. The head coach has her hands tied right now with Salem. If she can get to a phone over the next few minutes, we will welcome her inside the show. If not, we may have to wait until next week. But, Roger, right now the big game on the boys' side in the NHIAA in Division I, at least, is Pinkerton and Merrimack. They're doing battle right now with the Astros playing well towards the end of that first half to lead 7-1.
Yeah, we were following that, and there was a timeout halfway through the second quarter by Merrimack, and it was 3-1. 7 minutes later, it was 7-1.
7-1.
So either the field has not been a factor, or Pinkerton has just had a pretty good run there. But clearly, it was a close game early. If you're holding Pinkerton to 3 goals in the first half, at least until that run, you're playing pretty good. So
again, Merrimack putting their Division I best record of 6-1 on the line against Pinkerton, who looks for just their second win in 5 games to try and improve to 6-4.
That's deceiving, though. I mean, they played some real. I mean, you got to give a coach like Gaudreau some kudos, because he's challenging his team much like Coach Cameron and Coach Hetler do with out-of-state games, and those were some tough games against Hingham and Longmeadow.
Yeah. How about 5 of the first 9 against out-of-state opponents?
Yeah.
For Pinkerton.
Andover as well.
Bishop Girton, no problem through 3 quarters, beating Nashua South 17-0. Speaking of 17-zip, Derryfield earlier this afternoon over Merrimack Valley, 17-0. We spoke with Quinn Silvio earlier. And one other one down in Division III to report, Pelham over Co-Brown. That's a final of 7-3.
Plus, we had a final earlier as well. Salem with a win over the Manchester Kings.
That's right.
Okay. We had, I saw it, I couldn't find it again, but I believe Londonderry beat Dover at Londonderry. I think that was a 7-1 score.
So the Lancers get their 4th win.
Yeah, I believe so.
Of the season. All right, Roger, coming up this week, obviously you and I will be on the call tomorrow night for BG at Exeter. What else are you looking forward to this week on the docket?
Oh, you're catching me off guard.
St. A's Lemoyne, you know that.
St. A's Lemoyne, that's going to be on the feed.
And, of course, Portsmouth Bedford on the girls' side Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday. That's a game that I might actually go see because that's close.
Down the road, yeah.
Close to where
Bedford Eye, yeah.
Yeah, but I think Bedford's got somebody coming up on their schedule, I think, on Friday. That was a big one. You got the schedule right
on the
there?
boys' side?
Yeah, on the boys' side.
Pull that up real quick.
Yeah. Let's not bypass tomorrow night's game either, because I'm hoping that on Exeter's own field, with a little bit more rest, they'll be able to put a better showing together, even without Owen Williams and Gavin Lechner.
Yeah. Bedford, by the way, the boys are at Londonderry on Friday.
Okay, that was
which is a big matchup.
Yeah. Yeah.
As we know as well. I think everybody would like to see Exeter a little more competitive tomorrow night against Bishop Girton, unless you're a Cardinal fan. Obviously, then you're just fine with 14-1.
Well, I think the good news for the Cardinals is the fact that that score is indicative of what Coach Cameron generally does in a big run score like that, and which is he sits the Brady Dumonts and the
get some other guys a look, right?
Yeah, the kids that start the game. He's very good because he's got the depth. I think he's got 50 players on his roster. The dress, at least according to the roster I got, and he can rest those guys for the big game like this. So the schedule worked in his favor for this contest for sure.
It'll be a good one, I think. Exeter will be a little more Exeter-ish, so to speak, tomorrow night. I have a feeling, no matter how healthy they are. Again, that game tomorrow night is at 6:30.
And I think Exeter probably could have done the same thing today. I believe they have North on their schedule today at Exeter. So if things go as they have traditionally gone with some of the Nashua teams, if Exeter got up a little bit on that, maybe by halftime he can sit his first lines like Gabe Albert and Delory and, some of the guys that have taken up the slack for the other offensive players on the team.
Roger, I want to thank you for coming down. Appreciate it.
Love being in the chair.
Filling in for Coach Cameron. I have a feeling we'll see you in that chair sooner rather than later. I know that I'll see you by my side tomorrow night in Exeter at the booth at Bill Ball Stadium for that BG Exeter matchup at 6:30. Want to thank our guests, Quinn Silvio of Derryfield, Mike Shimana, the St. Anselm men's head coach, of course, Khloe Hall of Wyndham, and unfortunately we will not speak with JoJo Curro this week of Portsmouth, but we'll speak with her very soon. Want to thank the sponsors as well, the New Hampshire Tomahawk, Beals Insurance, New Hampshire iPhone Repair, of course, Spectrum Monthly, and MG Sports Fundraising, and of course, Roger Howe Real Estate, part of the Bean Group. For the man behind the curtain, the wizard of replay, our director, Ben Beals, the executive producer, Steve Beals, and my partner, Roger Howe. My name is Nick Anastas, saying so long. This has been FNL Lacrosse, presented by the New Hampshire Tomahawks.